Despicable Me 4 is a presentation of everything that's wrong
with Despicable Me franchise by
amplifying all of its problems to deliver a miserably tiring experience. There's barely much of a story, and whatever story there is in this is purely weak. The animation is more exhausting to watch than being enjoyable, the characters range from pointless to annoying, and the comedy could never surpass a few chuckles, and the only real joke of the film is the writing. The only good thing that this feature serves is that this is a confirmation that the franchise is officially over. But had to unfortunately conclude this in the worst way to cap off an animated movie franchise since Ice Age Collision Course. I'll just throw it out now. This is an obvious choice to give this the Animat seal of garbage. And yet, after that whole experience, it really is for the best.
Despicable Me
Is over. And I'm not saying that because I never liked this franchise, but honestly, it's because Illumination has become so much better than this. Ever since the Super Mario Bros. Movie, they became a completely different studio where now they are creatively at their prime and have released many of their best works yet that actually value substance as much as the style. They're no longer stuck with regurgitating the same unappealing hyperactive rubber hose animation and forcing themselves to be hip and trendy. Nowadays, they're being experimental. They're telling engaging stories and bringing us to worlds and adventures we want to explore. And you know what? It's actually paying off. When watching Despicable Me 4, this doesn't feel like it's from the studio
that brought us the Lorax and
the Super Mario Bros. Movie. This feels more like it's from the studio that made
Migration.
Not to mention that the way they kept making
Despicable Me film
felt a lot like how Blue Sky was handling Ice Age. The way they keep coming out one after another, not because the Illumination had great creative ideas,
for the rest of the Minions,
but because how the franchise is like the only thing that was keeping Illumination entertained and financially afloat. And without the dependency of Despicable revenue, well, let's just say that when Blue Sky stopped the Ice Age franchise, it did not end well a few years later. And look, I get that Despicable Me movies are just kids' movies. They're not necessarily made for anyone over the age of 8 to enjoy for themselves, and certainly not for grown adults like me. They serve their purpose if they can entertain children and keep them distracted for over an hour. But as someone who likes watching movies, I'm just glad to see not just this franchise be over, but for
Illumination
to completely let go of their old ways. Besides, if I want to watch an animated film franchise with family values, I'd rather stick with Toy Story
movies.
Sure, they're not as stylized as Transylvania, but what they lack in style, they more than make up for in actual substance, with great characters, a solid heart that can deliver some touching moments, and enjoyable comedy that can consistently make me laugh. And with that, it is time that we say goodbye to Despicable Me. We shared a few laughs, but now I'm moving on to watch some actual good movies.